What if some of China's most beloved stars were hiding stories that have never been told? In this video, we explore the quiet moments, the subtle connections, and the tender glances that inspire endless curiosity. We're not here to label anyone. We're here to celebrate love in all its forms and open up space for honest, respectful conversations. Which story surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Your voice matters, and we believe all kinds of love deserve to be heard. Zhao Liying. In a world where fame is and every smile is scrutinized, Zhao Liying stands out, not just as a national treasure, but also as an enigma. She is the kind of actress who makes even silence seem powerful. Coming from an ordinary family, Zhao Liying has made a name for herself with resilience, talent, and a quiet defiance that is rarely mentioned. But beneath the glitz, fans are beginning to notice something different, something unspoken. It's not a scandal. It's not even a confession. It's the way she stares for so long, the way her online posts hint at something softer, warmer, something that doesn't quite fit the mold of her public narrative. It all started, as usual, with curiosity. A photo here, a message there. Zhao Liying and her longtime stylist seemed inseparable. Not just at work, but as confidants disguised as colleagues. Fans noticed the matching jewelry, the mirror selfies, the birthday parties held side by side. Then, in a now-archived Weibo post, Zhao Liying wrote, "No matter how far we go, you are still the one I want to be with." A simple statement, yes, but in China's tightly controlled entertainment industry, even friendships are scrutinized for hidden meanings. And that one? It set off a storm of rumors. The press was silent. And the fans? They had plenty of theories. An entire forum dedicated to deciphering Zhao Wei's emotional truth, frame by frame, word by word. But Zhao Wei never confirmed, never denied. She simply lived, elegantly, quietly. Her truth, whatever it is guarded like a treasure she owes no one. But perhaps the real story here isn't about labels or secrets. Perhaps it's about how society responds to a woman who dares to write her own script, one that doesn't revolve around the male gaze. We can't claim to know anyone's private life. What we do know is that love, whether whispered or screamed, deserves respect. So what if Zhao Liying's greatest role wasn't in a movie, but in real life? A life of boundaries, choices, silent resistance. Now we ask you, what do you see between the lines? Is this just hearsay? Or is there a deeper truth in this silence? Leave your thoughts. Let's build a space where all kinds of love can exist without explanation. Because here, we believe that being true to yourself is the most beautiful story. Angelababy. They say beauty attracts attention, but mystery, that gets us talking. And few stars in China have piqued as much curiosity as Angelababy. To most, she is the embodiment of modern glamour, a red carpet maestro, a high-fashion beauty, and the face of thousands of advertising contracts. But behind the glitter and flawless looks, fans have long talked about something deeper. Something less obvious, but impossible to ignore. For years, online forums and fan pages have scrutinized her every move, especially her notoriously close relationships with some of her female industry friends. From late-night hangouts to seemingly in-jokes that only they understand, these moments don't just pique curiosity, they raise questions. Is it just friendship, or something a little more complicated? One story in particular made waves online. At a fashion event in Paris, Angelababy was caught holding hands with a famous female model, locking eyes for just a second. Of course, the moment was captured, and fans went wild over every frame. Then the Instagram post appeared, a lightly edited photo of the two women, captioned with a single heart. No explanation, no context, just enough silence to make the noise all the louder. And while the tabloids scrambled for quotes, she remained calm, composed, and in her signature style, utterly unflinching. She never confirmed, never denied. And maybe that was the point. Maybe silence in a world obsessed with answers was a statement. But let's be clear, this isn't about labeling. The point isn't to assume or pigeonhole anyone. The point is that even rumors can reveal something real, a yearning for representation, stories that reflect all kinds of love. Ultimately, Angelababy's story, true or not, is part of a much larger conversation about privacy, about identity, about how we react when powerful women live outside the script we expect. So tell us, what did you feel when you watched? Surprised, curious, or even a little hopeful? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep this space open, fun, and meaningful for everyone, no matter who they are or who they love. Esther Yu. Esther Yu is more than just a pretty face in Chinese entertainment. She's practically a meme queen, with expressive eyes, perfectly drawn eyeliner, and a heart-shaped smile that could spawn 1,000 GIFs. Whether she's poking fun at herself on reality TV or sporting an award-worthy look, fans are captivated. But behind the glitz, wigs, and exaggerated expressions, there's something else that keeps people talking. Something quieter, more curious. Over the years, fans have followed her not just for her chaotic charm, but also for the gossip. You see, it's not the most sensational headlines that spark conversation. It's the little things. Like the moment Esther Yu lingered an extra second next to her closest female teammate during a team practice. Nothing too flashy, just enough to make fans pause. Or the time she posted a birthday message to another actress that read more like a love poem than an intimate note. "You make everything lighter," she wrote. Even on her shows, she often dodged emotional questions with playful shrugs or redirected the subject with a wink like, "I know what you're thinking." The internet, it noticed. Fan edits abounded. Topics were discussed, and yet she never denied it, never confirmed it. Just smiled her signature mischievous smile and left everyone wondering. But maybe the question isn't whether the rumors are true. Maybe the real story here is why we're so obsessed with answers. Why is the idea of a woman loving another woman still so haunting? In a world full of labels, perhaps what makes Shuxin so compelling is that she never lets herself be pigeonholed. She just is, bold, funny, untouchable, and perhaps more real than we think. What do these quiet rumors say about us, about love, and about how we view women who break the mold gently, unapologetically? If this story made you smile, think, or even feel a little challenged, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Together, let's build a space where love is expressed and all voices are heard, with kindness, curiosity, and a healthy dose of sparkle. Guli Nazha. Guli Nazha has always been wonderful in public, graceful, elusive, always ready for the camera. She's the cool beauty of period dramas, the urban goddess of magazine spreads, the woman everyone takes refuge in. But if you followed her long enough, you'll know, Nazha has never really fit the mold everyone has built for her. She's too unpredictable, too reserved, and sometimes just breathless around the male co-stars she's paired with on screen. Fans have long noted that her chemistry in interviews often feels off. She nods, she smiles, she acts, but her eyes? We see beyond the lens, as if her mind is somewhere else entirely, somewhere more real. What triggered in tone wasn't the social media post or the matching outfits. It was a random clip, not captured by the paparazzi, but by accident. A behind-the-scenes take on a commercial shoot. While the actor was styling, Nazha turned around, completely unscripted, and gently adjusted a quick wire for a female stylist. Not reassigned, she stayed. Her hand lingered a little too long, her gaze locked on the woman for a second longer than usual. You could feel the shift in energy. Unknown, but it was very personal. The encounter wasn't about fashion, it was about trust. And when the video was posted to a fan forum, suddenly the comments changed. People weren't just admiring her looks, they were wondering, who makes her smile like that when the cameras aren't rolling? Maybe it didn't make sense, or maybe it means a lot. We're not here to make any claims about anyone's identity. Guli Nazha isn't famous yet, and she probably never will be. But sometimes, silence isn't avoidance, it's protection. In a culture where famous women are closely watched for every move, every glance, choosing privacy is perhaps the most honest option. So now we ask you, not what is truth, but what does it do? What does it mean that so many people are seeing themselves in such a short moment? What does it say about our yearning for gentle, honest connection, especially between women, in places that are still considered taboo? What did you feel while watching video? Drop your thoughts, emotions, or even questions in the comments. We'd love to hear your point of view. Song Zuer. You know Song Zuer, the girl with eyes that seem to have seen 1,000 lives and a smile that never fails. On screen, she's all ease and laughter. But off screen, she's a poem written in code. She doesn't chase the spotlight follows her, trying to decipher what she's not saying. While other stars shine with staged love stories and brand-approved transparency, Song Zuer offers something far more appealing: intentional mystery. There are no clickbait captions, no sensational "who's she dating" headlines, just slow, deliberate signals, like someone sending a love letter in Morse code. One fan once called her a walking short film, and they weren't wrong. Her social media is like a mood board from a Wong Kar-wai film. Dimly lit rooms, borrowed sweaters, close-ups of nameless clasped hands. In one famous clip, she's seen adjusting another woman's collar, then gently tucking her hair behind her ear. There's no dialogue, just instinct. Viewers slow down, frame by frame. Some see it as intimacy, others see it as staged. But that's what's so special about Song. You never know where the acting ends and the authenticity begins. Maybe that's why people are so drawn to her. She creates tension through restraint. But what makes her story so powerful is that it's not about confirming or denying anything. It's about presence. She doesn't erase the rumors. She lets them exist. Like the mist on a still lake, you're not allowed to see through it. You're allowed to feel what it hides. In a rare interview, when asked about love, she replied, "True connection doesn't need proof. It just needs recognition." That statement alone has sparked fan theories, think pieces, and even short films. But through it all, she still doesn't care. Maybe she knows that presence isn't just about speaking, it's about owning your silence. So maybe Song Zuer isn't trying to hide anything at all. Maybe she's just reminding us that not all stories need to be resolved. Some stories need to be felt. What about you? How does her silence make you feel? Confused? Curious? Comforted? Leave your thoughts below. We're not here to define her or anyone else. We're just here to make space for all kinds of love stories, even the ones written between the lines. Meng Meiqi, one of China's hottest idols. Is she living a story that the cameras haven't caught? Meng Meiqi is no stranger to the spotlight. Since stepping onto the stage of China's Produce 101, she's not just performed, she's had it all. Dubbed the center of Rocket Girls 101, she's quickly become a symbol of talent, drive, and independence. But behind every stellar performance, there's always another story quietly unfolding. A story that has nothing to do with music, but rather about human connection. And fans? Yes, they've noticed. It all starts with the subtle moments. Blink and you miss it interactions on shows, inside jokes with a particular female idol, and midnight Weibo comments that seem a little coded. The two were seen traveling together, sometimes wearing matching outfits or accessories, including a silver ring that eagle-eyed fans have spotted multiple times on both hands. Then came the infamous live stream. Meng leaned toward his girlfriend, brushed her hair away from her face, and whispered something that made them both burst into awkward laughter. No confirmation, no denial. Just a moment so genuine, so natural, that viewers couldn't stop rewatching it. And then, of course, the fan theories exploded. Screenshots, posts, translated captions, even frame-by-frame analyses of their body language. One fan joked, "I didn't sign up for a love story, but here we are." But let's stop there. The point isn't to prove any of that true or false. We're not here to make assumptions, draw conclusions, or invade anyone's privacy. What we're here to do is talk about why people care so much. Why the smallest spark between two women can send the internet into a frenzy. Why silence can be louder than a confession. Why, even in 2025, a touch between two famous women can still feel revolutionary. Maybe it's because stories like this remind us of what's still missing from the world. Presence, safety, the freedom to love without fear or judgment. Or maybe just because love, in any form, is captivating. So now we ask you, what did you feel when you watched it? Was it just friendship? A beautiful connection between two artists? Or was there something deeper that wasn't being said? Leave your thoughts in the comments, not because we want to be over the top, but because we believe in open and respectful conversations. This is a space for all kinds of love to exist, even the ones that never get a name. Zheng Shuang. On screen, Zheng Shuang was the dream girl of a generation, fragile, unpredictable, and heartbreakingly beautiful. She possessed a rare, almost supernatural charm that made her seem like she had just stepped out of a painting or a poem. But behind that perfect exterior, a quiet turmoil was brewing. Her fame soared, and then just as quickly, her downfall came, one scandal after another. But as the tabloids grew louder, something else, quieter, more subtle, began to emerge. Not legal trouble, not bankruptcy. Something more human. People began to whisper about her heart. Not who had broken it, but who might have been in it. In a culture that often defines female friendships as cute or codependent, Zheng Shuang's emotional openness with her female companions is striking. She's not shy about showing affection, posting poetic captions, holding hands in public, even once wrapping her arms around a female friend at a press event in a protective way. Tender. There's a certain intimacy to her language. "You understand the sides of me that I never tell you," she once wrote to a longtime best friend. And so the internet took over. Rumors began to fly. Was this a real friendship? Was there something unspoken behind the affectionate glances and private jokes that only they seemed to understand? Fan forums exploded with theories, each frame of their interactions like detectives in a slow-burn mystery. Yet throughout the story, Zheng Shuang never confirms, never denies. She just continues. Let's be honest, sometimes the need to categorize others says more about us than it does about them. Why are we so quick to label every relationship that doesn't follow a straight line? Maybe it's not about is she her or not, but how we respond to emotional freedom, especially when it doesn't fit our mold. Zheng Shuang will probably never be able to explain those limitations, and maybe she doesn't owe us that. What's more important is this: she dared to be vulnerable. She allowed the world to see love, whatever form it took, without regret. And in doing so, she allowed others to feel more deeply too. Have you ever loved someone in a way that doesn't fit the label? Tell us how this story makes you feel. We don't need answers, just your thoughts, your voice, your presence. Because in the end, all we're really trying to do here is make space for all kinds of love too. Yitong. Yitong has always been a quiet storm, elegant, discreet, and incredibly charming. From her breakthrough in Legend of the Condor Heroes to her modern dramas as strong, complex women, Yitong has never needed a PR machine to make a splash. Her on-screen presence speaks for itself, but it's what happens off-screen that has fans and skeptics wondering. Because somewhere between the bright smiles at award shows and the picturesque Instagram coffee photos lies a lasting mystery. And that relationship? It's fueled speculation. Netizens have begun digging through old interviews, analyzing her choice of words when it comes to love. At a press conference, when asked about her ideal partner, she smiled and said, "Someone who understands me in every way. Gender is not an issue." A progressive view? Definitely. But in a conservative media landscape, it made headlines. Then there's the Beijing apartment rumor, paparazzi photos of the same car, the same gate. Coincidence? Maybe. But when fans really care, they'll connect the dots even when the lines are invisible. But this is where we draw the line. We're not here to define Yitong's personal life, or anyone else's. We don't label things that aren't clearly stated. This video isn't about breaking boundaries. It's about asking why those boundaries exist. Why can't a woman post a heartfelt message to a female friend without it becoming a trend? Why can't two actresses laugh for too long in an interview without someone shouting, "secret relationship"? Maybe it's just friendship. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe it doesn't matter, because love, in any form, deserves respect. Did her story surprise you? Intrigue you? Remind you of someone in your life? Leave your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you take away from this video. We're not here to speculate on drama. We're here to create a space that's open, safe, and meaningful. Because at the end of the day, whether it's love, friendship, or anything in between, how every relationship deserves a little. Shulu. Shulu always exudes a gentle, elegant air. She is not loud, not ostentatious, but still leaves a deep impression. Famous for her roles in Empresses in the Palace and One Summer and a Half, Shulu is known for her roles torn between duty and responsibility. But it is what happens in real life that really piques the public's curiosity. Over the years, her presence in real life seems to have a gentleness, a subtle closeness, not always directed at the men she stars with. In fact, many fans have begun to notice a constant warmth in her interactions with some of her female co-stars, stylists, and even female managers. It is not dramatic, not ostentatious, but it is always there. In the affectionate gaze, in the small gestures, in the genuine intimacy that does not need words. A wave of speculation arose when she appeared on the Chinese reality show We Are in Love, a similar show meant to simulate romantic relationships. She was paired with Lin Yi, a young actor with boy-next-door charm. On screen, their chemistry was sweet. But eagle-eyed viewers noticed something. Shulu often appeared emotionally distant during romantic moments, almost as if she was showing affection rather than feeling it. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, fans noticed that she smiled more freely, touched people more freely, and seemed more emotionally open with the female crew members. Then a series of couple-coded posts appeared on her personal Weibo, matching captions, similar locations, and emotional quotes that matched another woman's posts. Fans on Douban and Lofter began to piece together the timeline. One name comes up often, a female stylist who has accompanied Shulu on many sets, often appears in her stories, sits near her in the car, and even wears couple rings. No official statement has been made, and perhaps there never will be. But perhaps that's the point. The point isn't to prove anything. The point is how easily we overlook the emotional spectrum of love, especially when it doesn't follow a script. How we respond to close female friendships with gestures that fall outside of rigid gender norms says more about us than they do about themselves. So here's the question we want to ask you. If someone finds comfort, joy, or love in a place you don't expect, does that make it any less real? We're not here to frame. We're here to listen. If this story touched you, surprised you, or reminded you of something personal, please leave a comment. This is a space for open hearts and minds. Because in the end, love, in all its forms, deserves to exist, even in the quietest corners of fame. Zhou Yutong? She steps onto the screen with a quiet confidence, a natural charm that doesn't beg for attention, but still commands it. Zhou Yutong isn't the most famous actress in Chinese entertainment, but she's one of the most intriguing. Known for her tomboyish roles and bold fashion sense, Zhou Yutong has long stood out, not just for her talent, but for the subtle rebellion she exudes in every outfit, every interview, every affectionate glance toward the camera. Her image is elegant yet genderless. Her energy, magnetic yet elusive. Over the years, those choices, whether intentional or not, have sparked gossip. Whispers about who she is and who might quietly win her heart. The gossip doesn't start with scandal. It starts with prejudice. Fans began to notice Zhou's consistent on-screen chemistry with her female co-stars, a chemistry that often felt too raw, too real to be captured in a script. One particularly viral moment came during the My Huckleberry Friends promotional tour, when behind-the-scenes footage showed Zhou giving a female co-star affectionate, almost protective gestures. Then came the interviews. When asked about love, she often spoke neutrally, focusing on connection rather than gender. "I like people who make me feel at home. Safe, accepted," she once told a magazine. The internet was quick to pick up on these rumors and spread them. And while Zhou never addressed them directly, she didn't deny them either. Her silence was neither confirmation nor denial. It was a void that fans, especially queer fans, have filled with hope, identity, and reflection. But maybe that's the point. Maybe this story isn't about acceptance. Maybe it's about the power of not being pigeonholed and being admired for it. Zhou Yutong represents something quietly radical in an industry obsessed with control. The freedom to be herself. Whether she's gay, straight, or neither, doesn't really matter. Which begs the question, why do these rumors matter so much to us? Why does her quiet resistance feel so personal to so many? If her story resonates with you, we'd love to know. Share your thoughts in the comments. Because in the end, it's not about labels. The aim is to create a space where love, in all its unexpected forms, can exist naturally. Shen Yue. She was never the type of star who begged for the spotlight, but somehow it always found her. Shen Yue entered the entertainment industry without the dazzling confidence of a natural celebrity. She was petite, quiet, and unassuming, almost too ordinary in an industry obsessed with perfection. But that was what made her unforgettable. Audiences didn't just see her, they felt her. In every shy glance, every shy smile, she brought something raw and genuine to the screen. But as the world tried to portray her as the perfect good girl, as is tradition in Chinese media, something strange began to happen. Shen Yue didn't quite fit the mold, and slowly, gently, she stopped pretending she did. While other stars strutted down the red carpet with flashy dates and public statements, Shen Yue kept a low-key pace. She didn't make a fuss, she didn't correct rumors or exaggerate them. Instead, she posted poems, she shared songs, she recorded quiet, private moments, always with women. There were no bold confessions, just small gestures, a reminder of a show, a photo caption that sounded more like a confession than a comment, an old interview where she paused when asked about marriage and said, "I don't dream of a wedding, I dream of peace." Fans began to piece things together. Not because they wanted to connect with her, but because they realized something, and the realizations were always powerful. Sometimes it's not what was said, it's what was kept inside. Shen Yue never gave anyone a blueprint. She didn't draw the line between friendship and something more. And maybe that's why her story matters. Because in a world that demands definition, she offers mystery. Not to provoke, but to protect something tender. Her silence is seen by some as an escape from reality, but by others, it's a kind of quiet revolution. And in that ambiguity, many young people have found something like home. Do you think society is ready for stories without explanations? Leave your thoughts below. Your perspective may change the conversation. Because in the end, it's not about proof, it's about empathy. It's about making space for all kinds of love, even the kind that's hiding right in front of you. Chen Duling. What happens when a quiet beauty starts making noise without saying a word? That is the question surrounding Chen Duling. A name once synonymous with innocence and elegance, now echoing across forums and fan pages with various gossips. Since her breakthrough role in The Left Ear, Chen Duling has conquered the public with her elegant appearance. But in recent years, it is not only her acting that has been the subject of discussion. Fans have begun to notice something private, but never confirmed. The constant closeness with some famous female celebrities. The captionless photos that look friendlier than ever. The birthday posts filled with tenderness, emojis, and words usually reserved for love. Is it just the affection between close friends, or is there something deeper, quietly happening behind the scenes? The most talked about connection? Actress Zhang Tian'ai. Their rumored relationship began when they filmed Lost in Love together, where their chemistry was so obvious it spilled over onto the screen. During promotional events, they were always together, exchanging affectionate glances, whispering in each other's ears, and appearing side by side in personal vlogs. In a behind-the-scenes clip, Zhang Tian'ai gently wrapped a scarf around Chen Duling's neck and said, "Don't catch a cold." Chen Duling's gaze softened in a way that caught fans' attention. Then, in a viral livestream from 2021, a fan asked Chen Duling what kind of person she admired the most. Her answer? "Someone who can understand me without words, someone who makes me feel safe when I'm quiet." It wasn't the words themselves, but the knowing smile that accompanied them that got people speculating. Now let's be clear, Chen Duling has never publicly confirmed her sexuality, and we don't mean to label her. But in a world where women are expected to fit into narrow boxes, sometimes just being free is enough to raise questions. And maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe that curiosity is the beginning of something beautiful, something real. Because whether these rumors are true or not, one thing is clear. Chen Duling is living her authentic self, however quietly, and that alone is powerful. So now we want to ask you, what do you see in these words? Share your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. We're here to celebrate all forms of love, and your voice is important in creating a safe, fun, and authentic space for everyone. Love doesn't need a name. It just needs the courage to exist. As we close this chapter with whispers, glances, and quiet truths, we are reminded that every story, whether confirmed or rumored, has power. The power to ask questions, the power to connect, the power to love. If this video touches your heart, surprises you, or simply makes you think, we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts below. Your voice helps create a space where curiosity meets respect. Thank you for spending time with us today. If you believe in celebrating love in all its beautiful forms, we invite you to discover more stories on our channel. Subscribe, support our journey, and help us continue the conversation, kinder and more openly than ever before.